right, we're doing it again. We're here. We are here with I am excited about today. Today was like a big one for me. We are here with none other than Scoop Jardin. My God, this is a big one, JD.
Yeah, thank you.
So Scoop, I guess I can do a little bit of an introduction for you. I guess I would call you an entrepreneur first, a basketball player second. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair. That's super fair.
Yeah, so Scoop was a college basketball star at Syracuse. Syracuse is one of the biggest programs in the country, just legendary powerhouse. And Scoop was at the helm of that. What years were you there?
I was there for actually 5 years, 2007, 2012.
That 5-year plan.
Yeah, it's a great 5-year plan.
I suggest everyone do that 5-year plan.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I started that. For Bayham, I started that 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Sure.
How do you guys know each other, by the way? We haven't. Let's just get right into it.
Mutual teammates.
Yeah.
One of my high school teammates, which is my best friend, Deshante Riley. He went and played at Syracuse.
For sure. And it's funny because I heard a lot of stories about JD through Deshante.
And likewise, he
Yeah.
always used to tell me about school.
What was the first thing you heard about Jordan?
Oh man, he's a great guy. Got a big heart.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's funny because when I got to meet him, that's what it was. And first day I met him, and what Deshante explained to me is who I met.
Yeah.
So that's good, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt like from that day on, you just know you're gonna create magic with somebody, like
Right.
somebody that you can really bond with. That's why we just kept a good bond. Even when I ran into him out here in LA, it was the same energy.
Yeah. How does that work? How do guys like you guys just run into each other in LA? Give us the scoop on that.
Man,
That
it could
just-
be one of a few places. A
Yeah.
gym, a restaurant, a club. I mean, we all do the same stuff basically. so.
Yes.
Yeah. So Scoop, we here on this podcast and video, we talk about chance bending, right? We talk about entrepreneuring. You're an entrepreneur through and through. What have you been up to? Give the people what they want. Tell them a little bit about yourself. What are you doing these days?
Man, I've been doing everything. I've been throwing everything at the wall, hoping something stick, if that make any sense. But man, it started, of course, I played at Syracuse University 5 years. From there, I broke my foot 2 days before the NBA draft, and that's when life hit. That's when everything happened. Because throughout my whole life, I thought I was going to be getting paid to play basketball. I was going to be, be one of the biggest marketing guys out there. And when I broke my foot, I didn't get drafted, and that's when everything happened for me as far as the real world. I moved there. I moved to New York City, and it's funny because you pick these colleges and you don't know what you pick them for. You pick them to go to the NBA. But again, I was there for 5 years at Syracuse. I came across some good people there as far as the alumni. So when I broke my foot, I had a good 6 or 8 alumni reach out to me and was like, move to New York. I won't forget. It was like help me help Scoop. One alumni sent this email to about 10 alumni, and all 10 of them replied.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was crazy because this guy's named Brandon Steiner. He's a entrepreneur. He sells a lot of sports mobility.
Shout out to Brandon.
Yeah. Brandon. He reached out to me like, Scoop, allow me to, help you. Him and Hop, which was the assistant coach now and head coach at University of Washington. So I always say, Scoop, you're gonna meet so much. Your calling is gonna be after basketball. And when I was playing, I used to think that that's disrespect.
Yeah, that was an insult. That hurt.
What do you mean by that? Like my calling is gonna be after basketball, but I could never understand it. But it was a compliment because I knew what they was touching on. Like a lot of guys always followed me. I was always that guy, like where I was a leader. And so I knew what they would used to always say, but I never could understood it. And Steiner used to say, "You a salesman, man." And I always thought he wanted me to sell for him. You know what I mean? Like, you a salesman, you're gonna be great. And when I broke my foot, he was the first guy that reached out to me. And when I got the call, I'm like, yeah, here it is. I'm taking it as he just want me to work for him and sell it. Because he's been telling me this basically my whole senior year of college. Like, yo, you're great at selling. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to go to the draft. You telling me about selling. Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. But when I broke my foot, I'm sitting there in the hospital bed. I'm not thinking about a plan B or a plan C, but you really I never been hurt before either. Like,
Yeah.
so mentally, that did everything to me. Like, I was more so, and it was 2 days before my dream, and my head it was about to come true. You couldn't tell me Joe Dumars wasn't drafted. So look, no, but seriously, I was devastated, and going through that moment. Now I'm reaching Syracuse. The alumni reached out to me.
Well, it sounds like you had a network, right? Like a network is everything, and you had that. Right?
Listen, and I had that through all those luncheons, those, that you do when you're in college. As far as like you have those giveaways, like the Jim and Julie Foundation. We have these, we have a lot of where you're around alumni all the time, like where you spend time with these individuals who's entrepreneurs who went to Syracuse, who made a great living, not playing basketball though. You know what I mean? Like this, that's the big, and our alumni is in New York and LA. That's the two biggest cities in the world where, you're making a living. So I seen when I used to be at these luncheons, these cancer giveaways with the alumni, and a lot of the players, you don't want to really be there, to be true. Like, you after practice, they making you dress up and you gotta go. Like, you a regular student athlete, you really want to go home, play the game, but you gotta go sign autographs and do this. This is required for the coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the business of it. So I took out of that when we used to go. I'm by me being a people's person. And now I'm there, you talking and you just engaging. You engaging with the people, and people got to connect with me. I didn't know this though. I just was being me. And when I broke my foot, Steiner again, he reached out to me. I moved to New York. I was afraid too, because I didn't know what they had planned for me. All I knew, I wanted to play basketball, but I needed to make some money to get me going until I'm able to back to play basketball. So they created this whole, man, I wish I can go back to what they did for me now. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't ready for that at that moment because I didn't see it, but they created this whole basically like a schedule for me. Like 5 alumni, they all is CEOs of their company. And each day I went and worked for one of them. Wow. Monday through Friday. And
man, can you believe what?
Oh, listen.
Like, wow.
Oh, listen, it gets deep. And in the morning I had to get up at 5 a.m. and work on my foot, which I didn't have no medical insurance. I didn't have any of that. So when I broke my foot, I didn't have nothing to even heal myself. And the NBA was supposed to help me, but I wasn't even educated enough, or my agent didn't even help me with that, So I'm just, if it wasn't for Syracuse alumni with their doctors that they had to help me every morning. So like how we go to, Sports Rehab LA.
Yeah.
Like one of those type of spots based in White Plains. So I used to go there every morning. It's in Pelham, New York.
Yeah.
I used to go up there, work out with this guy, Chris, which is a great guy. Chris, man, he helped me get back right, but not my body, but mentally. That's what physical therapy was for me. It was more so mentally, like just talking to me every day, get me. Then I would go from there. I used to drive to New York City. Mind you, they rented my car for me, and I lived in one of their houses. And what part of Mount Kisco, New York? Like that's all the way up there, like where Bill Clinton lived at up there. Yeah. So that's like a 2-hour drive. Catch a train or drive to New York City. And every day I used to work. One day out of the week I worked for Brandon. Then I worked for a guy named Hal. I used to work for, CBS. I used to do that at night where I worked for. I did broadcasting journalism. That was with Syracuse alumni too. So it was like it was crazy because I got to make a good living though without the game of basketball, but I didn't treat it right because my whole life I thought basketball was going to be giving me everything, like playing in the NBA. Even where I come from, to touch on my high school career, like I felt like I was an investment. Like everybody was giving me because that's the kids that's going to be in the NBA. So my whole life I thought I was going to make the NBA and then give back to my community. Like that's who I was. That's what, from the time I took basketball serious from 12 years old to the time I was 25 years old when I broke my foot, 23 years old when I broke my foot. That's what I thought. Until at 24, I made that good living off the court with good people that went to Syracuse where I went, and helped me create these skills that I actually have today in the business world. But at this time, I didn't know. And they said, like, if you're not ready, it's fine. Like, we're going to help you get an opportunity. We just want to get you back healthy. You make some good money. And, you go back to play basketball. That was the
goal.
That was They didn't even like force it on me. Like, where So I'm not even taking these jobs serious. But one was real estate, one was selling sports memorabilia, one CBS, SNY.
Man, you had like the keys to like 5
New York.
Ferraris.
I had
like
the keys to New York.
Yeah.
I had the keys to New York.
Right.
And still to this day, I really truly like with the New York, with the Syracuse network that's there, I have that. I do, but to get back, like at this time, I didn't see that. You know, people, the Syracuse alumni, and it's great people there that they helped me. You know,
Well, I mean, look, I think people forget like you're a college basketball star. Like what the team you're on, who you are, what you do, like you know, it's a big thing, right? And then you go from that. The next day, you have an injury. All of a sudden, you can't even get health insurance.
let me run that back.
Yeah.
The guy who paid for my surgery was a Syracuse alumni.
Wow.
He's out here in LA.
Wow.
He sent me to Curlin Job. I'm sure y'all know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. He's like, yeah, you got to go to Kobe Doctor. This is a Syracuse alumni, one of our biggest alumni out here in LA. And Benzo, I did my pre-draft here. I was connected with him. So, like, we watched the draft. Even though I wasn't getting drafted, we flew my whole family out here. We watched it in Bel Air at his house. He paid for my surgery with his credit card. He put his credit card down for my surgery.
That's a good credit card.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like, and at this time, all this stuff is happening to me. But in my head, I'm still thinking NBA. That's
the mindset.
That's what I saw. And again, I remember back all these coaches and like, yo, your calling is after basketball, but it was happening right there. Like, so anyway, fast forward to New York now. I'm working. I'm finding out what I actually like to do, and at this time it wasn't basketball anymore. Like now I'm getting paid to actually do what I loved. I didn't know at this time, but I'm working all over the place.
How did that feel? Give me.
It was the best.
Yeah,
it was the best for me. I'm a project kid, Philadelphia. So living in New York, I got the keys to the city. I'm around a bunch of Jewish people who's treating me. I'm going to Passover. I'm going to all the time. I'm basically Jewish, you know. And that's what Syracuse is. It's predominantly a Jewish school.
Yeah.
You know, so I got to really get in and see that from a perspective. I always heard about it, but to be a part of it was like, okay, like this is again special. But I didn't really take it as that at that time because again, I was just focused on playing in the NBA.
Well, yeah, and I think you have to have that mindset, but I think it's really cool that you see different cultures, right?
Man, it was beautiful.
And there's a respect for different cultures.
It was beautiful.
Right? And it just opens your eyes to like just different ways of life and walking through life, and that's cool.
Man, it was for me.
It
was great because again, everywhere I went, I always brought my. If you met me, if you knew me, you was gonna know where I came from. I had to learn how to not do that as I got older, but when I was younger, my world connected with that world. So we had a cookout for me when I actually now with fast forward when I get healthy, they paid for me to go to John Lucas and train with John Lucas for 2 months. Now my foot is healthy. Now I'm back training. I'm back healthy. Then and from there, he have a cookout for me because the Cleveland Cavaliers is, you know, what's his name? What's the owner name?
Dan Gilbert.
Yeah, Dan Gilbert is
nice.
friends with one of my, mentors, a Syracuse alumni. Called this. I remember like it was yesterday. It was Chris Quinn got hurt in the Cleveland. It's 2012, 2013 summer league. Got hurt, concussion, and they needed an extra player. And Dion was on the team at the time. Here it is. I'm in my own kids' school training every day, working. I just told you on my schedule. I'm going at it, but we waiting for something to happen for me. I don't have no agent. They paid for me to go to John Lucas for 3 months. Got me an apartment down there. These people is basically my agent. You know what I mean? Like that's who's invested in me, but they invested in what I actually wanted to do. So we get the call. It was an agent. He was Darrell Reeves' agent at the time. Big time Spurs agent. I forget his name. But anyway, he is close friends with my mentor. Called and said that Cleveland is looking for a spot. Like, and I heard, don't you have Scoop living on your couch? Like, is he in shape? Is he ready? So I just remember like how I was like, oh shit, like we was at lunch and he get the call. He was like, you got a spot, we flying you out. And he paying for my flight for me to get to Vegas. Seriously, like this serious shit. And it was like, I'm sitting there stuck because a whole 6 months, I'm thinking like I'm not getting an opportunity. Like I know the business. I just set out basically a whole year of basketball. Honestly, y'all, I made really good money. And it's not really about the money, but I got to see a life that I actually wanted. Mm-hmm. But I was afraid to say that at that time because everybody was so invested in me getting back to playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, damn, and how he's hype as hell for me. And at that time, I'm like, looking at how, like, I want to do what you doing. Like, I want to be, like, you just showed me something that, but like, he get a call from the fucking owner of the NBA. This is who I want to be. You know what I mean? Like, saying, like, agents can't even do this. I'm seeing a whole, like, we was in conversations with Josh, the owner of the Sixers. And all these people, he's calling these people personally for me.
Yeah.
This is who I now want to be. Like, I want this type of shit.
Yeah.
Like you tell me NBA running up and down the court. Like, this is type. You showing me. I'm seeing you go to work at 5 a.m. I got to live with this man for 2 years. So I got to see a life. So when he get the call, he hyped for me. I'm sitting there like, yeah, damn, I'm hyped because I just worked my ass off, though. Every day I had to work out before I went to work. I ain't go to work till like 1 o'clock. But I'll be working out from like 6 a.m. to 1 o'clock. And then I go to work from 1 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tired of shit at work. Like, really really taking that serious because the goal was for me to get healthy and to get back to playing ball. So we get the call. He paid for me to go out to Vegas for I get the last 4 days of summer league. And I'm with Cleveland. I just pop up. Chris Quinn get he hurt. The first 2 days I don't play because this the year they draft Dellavedova. And I'm not gonna lie, in practice, like, I got to really show out, but if they draft him, this is the business part of basketball. Right. Now you about to run into. Like, so Dion is on the team at the time. I'm hyped. Like, Philly actually hyped. We about to play together in summer league. People even thinking he even pulled these strings for me. You know what I mean? Like, because it just happened out of nowhere. Here it is, you thinking I'm working in New York I'm in summer league, So, man, I played 1 game in summer league. Literally, I played 9 minutes. But what happened, what the journey of that was the beauty of it, because from that 9 minutes, I get a job to go to Croatia.
So 9 minutes.
Yeah, I get a job to go to Croatia.
Yeah,
to go overseas to finish that year out. Where now I'm overseas, and that's why I tear my meniscus. When I was over there, like the first 2 months, and the team cut me. Now I'm running to the business of it, and then this is where everything's starting to be like. I already got to see what I actually really truly wanted, but. Now I get cut. I never got cut playing basketball. Nobody never told me. And I'm gonna use me a third scoop that you wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Like, where this is a business. You cut the dude was there waiting for me. Like, like he was already, my replacement was already at the gym.
Dirty game.
Yeah, like the dirty game. They didn't even tell me.
Yeah.
Man. So my feelings was hurt a little bit. I was depressed. I'm back home. Didn't pay me either. That's the whole other part. But back home, but I'm looking at life like, I did all that. I knew what that was, but I seen something where the entrepreneur stuff where I'm at today. But I just was afraid to express that to the people that was invested in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I want to show. That's where I get to my company, where it's called Life After Sports. I want to teach kids how to leverage themselves with that, because we all get this platform. You got it at Michigan State, Arizona, name the top schools. Them D1, like they got alumni that, like what you say, they love their schools.
Yeah.
Bleed it. And if you're not getting paid to play the game of basketball, which I don't know how long that's through college, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I think this is a good method to take, because there's some good people there that you can take from that can help you throughout life. And my story helped. You know what I mean? Like,
if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like your whole life you have these goals around basketball.
Oh,
right, and you're so focused there. Things change a little bit. All of a sudden, some new things open up. You see your eyes open to some new opportunities. You go after the basketball one more time, but then all of a sudden, with all of this wisdom, all of this great stuff that you've accumulated, you're like, wait a minute, I'm now in a position to give back. I'm also in a position to grow and do new stuff.
Life started to hit me. Like, and especially being hurt too. Like I said, mentally, I never been hurt before. So when I was hurt, I got to see like, damn, I can't play basketball every day. I can't go to practice. Yeah. You rehab, but you got this. If you don't have no hobbies or things that you truly like to do, you can get lost being hurt as an athlete. And they tell you that. Make sure you pick up and read, or they say these things after surgery, and we don't do this.
Yeah.
They tell you this right after surgery. Make sure you find something that you do, a puzzle. They give you something.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't do that. So here it is. I'm in a bed for 3 straight weeks, and I'm watching Summer League.
It's painful.
And I'm watching all my friends, everybody's, what I would say, getting to the money.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sitting up, foot up. And now you start to think about, and I'm a hustler. I'll say that. Like, you start thinking about. I started playing basketball that way. Like the way I started playing basketball, I was running from the streets and getting to, this is, oh, you're gonna give me money to go on the AAU trip? I'm going on the AAU trip. I'm not going to stay in the city. Like basketball. So basketball saved my life. So I get to see this. I'm like, wow. So when this call come too, it's like people want to help me. It's like, then I got my agent not even answer my calls no more.
Right.
This the game of it.
Yeah.
Like and we all, when you good, everybody loving you. I don't care if you a 3-star good or a 4-star good. You got an entourage.
Yeah.
If you a 5, it's just that in basketball. So emotionally, I wasn't. This is where the depression part come in at. I didn't know I was depressed, and going through that, it led me to go see what I figured out what I actually did like, and with these people, with the this alumni that helped me in Syracuse, man. It was life opened up for me, but I was still afraid to express it, more so to my family who invested so much into my dream, into what I would say our dream.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have your whole network around you, the family, close friends who've given so much to help you your whole life.
And that's what took me to even where I'm at. I've been out of school right now 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, probably played 2.5. I just finished one full season, y'all, in 2016.
And where was that?
Canada.
In Canada. Oh,
it was great too.
I love Canada. So my wife is from Canada. I'm a Canada person. I love Canada.
I'm thinking about moving there.
There you go. There you go.
No, it's
where in Canada were you?
Niagara Falls.
Oh man,
Syracuse fans.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, they loved you.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
But again, I finished the 4th season. In the D League, I didn't finish the 4th season. I was hurt half the year. I played in the D League. I played over in Croatia, played in Austria, but then got cut in both spots. Told myself in 2016, man, I gotta finish the 4th season. I knew I was done with the game of basketball, honestly, but I needed to go finish a season for me. I never had my real shot. Even coming out of school, I got hurt. So going to Canada, I finished the 4th season. I actually averaged 19 points. I played okay. I could have played better, but I did finish the 4th season, and I got to put it down finally for myself. And where now people are, oh, you're not playing. I'm not afraid to even say, like, nah, where now I'm starting to truly understand who I am. I'm 30 years old, and I got a shitload of relationships through the game of basketball, and I gave my life, and I will still do that, and that's what comes. And everybody can make the NBA. It doesn't have to just be running up and down the court. Right. That's what you got. That's what everybody have to understand with the game of basketball. And yeah, it's what you want out of it, right? And I truly wanted this. What I'm doing today, I just wanted it. I'm a kid. I got 2 degrees. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college. Man, I took my whole family to college with me, and a lot of things that basketball gave me, I actually gave to my family. I never. That's why I gave so much. Like every sneaker, I never kept none of that stuff. Like every trophy, and now I understand why though.
Yeah,
you understand? Like now I'm 30, I'm understanding why I never kept none of that stuff.
Yeah. So tell us about you're an entrepreneur now.
Yes.
Tell us what you're doing, how you're thinking about business right now. What's today like for you?
Today now is going back to I always, before I do anything, I get back into mind, body, and soul, and I do that with basketball. So if I want to have a great season, what they say, be great in the summer, where you work on your body. So right now I'm going through this whole process of really training like a pro.
Yeah, and is that with JD a little bit?
Yeah, we both in the same process. Like, I can speak for you a little bit, but yeah, same process.
Absolutely.
But yeah, training like a professional. That's again on and off the court, because what I got to see when I was around these CEOs of these companies that I was blessed to be a part of, I got to see it was the same formula. It's the same thing as the best basketball player, Michael Jordan, to the top CEO. Like you addicted in what you do. I haven't really found that yet, but I know I love to help people. I love to assist others as a point guard. I truly do. I love that. I love people depending on me where I can, I deliver. So,
well, it sounds like you figured out that it's about running a process.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the same skills that got you to Syracuse are going to be the same skills that get you ahead in life.
Yes. And I've seen that. And I work for Fidelity. So I'll tell you what I do all the way up until about 2 weeks ago. But I was fortunate to grow my DBA. It was a DBA, do business as life after sports. had 2 different companies, and one title insurance, Fidelity, Commonwealth, where I had a guy, again, a Syracuse alumni, had a relationship, and I was working with one of his friends, and he's in real estate and commercial world where I sold title insurance for Fidelity, and that was cool. And I got to see working in sales, and it's really competitive, like basketball, and you're a part of a team, and it was a lot of that. And again, I had to apply some of the same methods that I've learned from the game. That's being to the office early and showing my boss that I really want to learn, even if I'm asking BS questions. I just want to point them guys on the team like they know the play, but they want to ask the coach like, "Yo, you do that?" Like those type of guys. But that's what goes in the business world. Actually helps you.
Is there a name for that type of guy, by the way? We need a name if there
well,
is.
it's a teacher's pet.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but you know what I mean. And the good guys look at those guys like, man, you got to do all the extra stuff. But that's when I went into the office where I'm like, I'm that scoop guy where I'm nice and ball, but I'm not scoring points. It's results. Like you got to get these deals in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And guys is like, they running by me. They was great at their craft, and I had to really accept that. And that was hard for me in the beginning because the competitive nature that you have, it's like good at what they do. So then I had to put my pride to the side and help me. Like that. You go into that upper classroom, like help me, like how you sell. How you like what you use, and I took a lot of. I went through that grind of it for about a year, and I was actually in the process of building my life at the sports. I took that to the financial world because I didn't want to be an agent. I really wanted to. I always didn't want to be in no box. Like I felt like if you put me inside a box, I wasn't gonna get the most out of myself. So being an agent or anything, it limits what you can do or who you can be. With the rules or whatever. Yeah. So I created this whole thing with the life at the sports that I was talking about, and I took it to the financial people, like the financial district, and a few people in one financial company. They liked the idea of it because that's all it really was, and they invested in it. So now I got 2 companies paying me. Like this happened in 1 year, yo. Like honestly, that's where the entrepreneurship comes.
See, you're making it happen now.
Yeah. Literally, like really making it happen but winging it though.
Well, tell us about that. Like, how did that happen?
And I'm still winging it, but it's a gift that I have, honestly, and I can only say with people. And, but again, it was the network of Syracuse University, and I give everything to that because the Fidelity job. Now I got a suit on. I was just playing in Canada a whole year ago, and once I got back from Canada, it was March. It was like April. He walked me into the office. I get the job. I'm thinking about taking a rental car spot, a GM, because they hire ex-athletes. So here it is as being a husband. I'm gonna get a GM job, a rental car spot. Me, I'm gonna make crazy money off that. I'm thinking all type of stuff going on. I'm gonna just kill his GM spot, and I got the degree to do it. So that's what I was taking. Pay you about $65K a year in Philly. Coming back from really not making money in Canada. So,
yeah, of course.
This is what I'm thinking at the moment. Man, it went from that to 2 weeks later, I'm in New York with meeting one of my mentors. Again, he was one of the 5 guys who reached out to me in 2012. He was like, what you want to do? What you doing? And I got to make some money. I need a salary at this point. Like I've been winging it a little. I need a home. And the Fidelity job opportunity gave me a home. And then from that home, I got to really see what I actually wanted to do. And being a part of my boss was he a boss. Like he ran his company. They pay him good money to run Fidelity, like he's the New York office. He runs the whole New York. Been running for about 25 years. Yeah. And in the title business, if you know title, it's a people's-based business. It's relationships. So if I buy a building, I'm gonna just because it need to be insured. So I'm gonna just give it to whoever giving me perks. And it was usually back in the day, it was ran by the mob. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so my boss have done a great job in New York where it's the most competitive. And he's one of the biggest title guys there. So that's how he had a relationship with one of my mentors who buy 3 or 4 buildings a year in New York City, a Syracuse guy. And I guess the relationship of he gave him a deal or something, he hired me.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you just like this, cut and dry. Oh, you the guy that was living on Howard's couch.
Mhm.
Like that's who I was. And again, you know, you don't take it personal, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it really that's these people saved me. If not, I would have been living in a project. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's basketball, people don't understand that part when I broke my foot. It was either that or going back to Philly where I was gonna get swallowed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so, and I had these degrees, but you just don't, I didn't plan for that. So to go through this life that I was going through, I just knew I wanted more for myself. And again, it landed me to a job making okay money in New York City.
Well, it sounds like you figured out how to talk and how to sell. That's what I'm hearing.
From the Brandon Steiner told me that in 2011. I didn't know this about myself. He said that like you're gonna be great at selling. I'm not selling anything.
See, selling is for most people is like a bad word. Right?
Yes,
People are like,
man.
oh, a salesman. Oh, yeah, it's bad, right? In my world, as I think real entrepreneurs, selling is like everything. Like selling is like it is the number one skill in the world.
Well,
Like there's nothing better. And if you learn that, like that's better than basketball.
oh, for sure. I feel like and selling all goes into leading by example though. I feel like for me, I sells of what I know. I only sell experiences that I had or you know what I mean? Like or what I'm actually going through. If I sell that great to you, I'm going through that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was told that back in 2000.
Yeah, and to me, selling is the art of giving, and that's what people don't take into account when they think about being a salesman. They think of a car salesman or a shoe salesman or whatever. It's like no, selling is about figuring out how to help somebody else and then actually helping them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, magic things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you hooked into this network. You were given this opportunity through all of your hard basketball work that transformed into something different, you know, and that's beautiful. That's what I'm hearing.
And that's how I sold life at the sports to the companies. I went into these meetings and I said, allow me to be the point guard for you for your business.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
Yeah.
And I truly meant that. Allow my relationship, let me be the point guard. Let me pass you, let me assist to you. You know, with my relationships, if you're gonna believe in me, this is what I have, but allow me to play this category because I'm gonna understand it because this is who I was my whole life. You know what I mean? And the company back in Philly, they helped me and they invested in it and it was cool. And it got me to this point where I'm at today. Now where I'm at, I feel like I learned how to I learned the business as far as how to run a company. I've been around CEOs, how they walk, how they talk. I studied that game and I took the time to do it because I took the same knowledge if I would do if I studied a Michael Jordan move. You know, like these CEOs might not think that because I didn't do it how they wanted me to do it, if that make any sense. But how I watched and how I've learned, I took that and now I'm applying that to what I want to do. You know, and that's what life after sports and it's creating, you know, I want to teach, I want to be able to create more of me. Like if these kids getting these great opportunities to go to college, which they is, but a lot of them ain't gonna go to the NBA. But we all could be in the NBA, you know? Well, a lot of them ain't gonna play in the NBA as far as, you know, physically, but you still can get there if that's what you want, or you still can have a successful life. And there's a lot of people out there that play sports as having a successful life, but they're not giving this game back.
Right. Yeah.
Like even all the way down to Magic Johnson, like how you give like nobody giving this real game.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I want to give the game. On what I experienced. I know people that's making done tons of more than what I did, but I want to bring them up. So that's why I came up with the whole podcast. I want to create my own platform.
Yeah, so tell people what you've got planned.
Basically, and it's in a nutshell, is what you're basically doing. It's really bringing my network to me. Like I didn't try to sell them a life insurance policy. I tried to sell them a T-shirt. I tried to. It's so many. I done hustled so much, but now it's at a point where I want to bring them to me and really give them a platform, and we talk about how we can, you know, and that's and always being on the next. I'm on the next. I feel like this is the podcast business is next. People are starting now listening to podcasts while they're driving in the car. And,
yeah.
And this, you know, you can get like now rappers. Now I'm gonna have a voice.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's stories to be told, right? Like this story, to me, this story is so important, right? Like I did grow up as a college basketball fan, and I think I idolize college basketball kids, but no one thinks about what happens after college, right? Like, sure, one or two of them, a few of them, you understand where they go because they go to the league. But for the vast majority of them, all these guys I idolize, what happens to them? And here you are, someone big star,
Word.
biggest stage, and then
Right.
you had to figure out, and that story needs to be told.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. And it's more out there. Even the guys that go overseas and play, you know,
Oh yeah.
they really get forgot about.
Yeah.
What and they make good money. Some of them, well, these guys know what they money.
But to
Like, you know
hear
what I mean?
you
Like,
say
it's-
to hear you say how you had to figure it out, like no one's ever, to my knowledge, I don't hear that anywhere.
No, that's very rare. I was just about to say that, Scoop. Like,
Yeah.
think about how many guys, just the two of us know, like whether they're former teammates or former peers,
right.
that are the opposite of what you're talking about. That had to go home and they did get swallowed up. Like, this is the 1 percentile of a guy who,
And
we talk about networkers all the time. Like, he's at the top of the game when it comes to networking and doing that.
and honestly, I never knew truly that was a skill of mine, though. Seriously,
Yeah.
I never until again my friends of mine, start saying I never knew that was a skill of mine. That's an important skill to have, though.
And to bring it back to what you said when you asked them, like, how did we know each other and like what gravitated us to each other? He said that DeShante described me to him a certain way, and it panned out that way. The same thing. He always used to just tell me, like, Syracuse, they #1 in the nation. I'm going to Michigan. Everybody knows who's on each other's team. And Deion Waiters and Michael Carter Williams and all these different NBA guys.
Yeah.
But there's one consistent name he used to say all the time, like, Scoop is the man on our team, though. Like, a lot of these guys, a lottery picks and this, that, and the third, but like he just always used to describe Scoop as the leader, and shit, that's who he is in real life to this day.
And honestly, I appreciate that, and that's what Syracuse was. I always say Syracuse was my NBA because all those pros that I played with, man, they was following me up there.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that where I got up there, where we all had this platform. I just took them. I made the most of it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I talked to the alumni. I made the most of what we had.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, Boeheim is also a coach. He gives you freedom too, though. Not a lot of coaches give you that freedom. He's an NBA coach.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of NBA style to it. And that's what allowed me to get to Syracuse and be able to create that. And it was fun because, again, I got to work with a lot of talent, and everybody wanted the ball.
Yeah, I mean, those teams you were on were stacked.
Even when I was younger, honestly, when Johnny Flynn left Syracuse, is when, like, even when Johnny was there, I was a big part of Johnny. Like, Johnny was great, but we was actually the same year, so it was like a competition. But we was great friends, So one of the years I set out, I became like a coach to Johnny Flynn. Like, that was the year he made the NBA, and it was crazy because I got to see so much of the business of it.
Yeah.
By being a part of, like, this guy. Everybody was the sixth pick, and we was just there. We was freshmen together now, our sophomore year. I'm sitting out this year, but I'm a part of the team. And Hop, which is assistant coach, he recruited both of us, did a great job. He seen Johnny follow me off the court, so he did a great job of working through Johnny through me, and he's seen a lot of my good, skills. And he always said, "You're gonna be a great coach." I just thought coaching was just too small for me. Like, but at some point, he seen that. And at this time, it got me to really enjoy basketball from a whole different perspective. Now I'm watching the game, So that whole year I set out, my redshirt year was the biggest year of my life. I had a 3.5 off the court, and that's because now I'm not an athlete. So I spent a lot of time in the classroom, but I had so much help through being a student athlete. And again, all I did was took advantage of the help that you get up there. Yeah. And I always tell kids, if you take advantage of the help, you should be walking out that joint with a 4.0. Right. And if you go in there with the mentality of you just, man, like, I don't want to be here. I'm just here to play basketball. It's not gonna work out for you like that. But if you really take advantage of the help and really just show up, literally. And that's what I did the year I was out. I showed up. And I was a big part of that team. We went to the Sweet 16. We lost to Blake Griffin in them that year. Right. But I was a big part of that team because my relationship, again, with Johnny Flynn. And Wesley Johnson was a red shirt that year. He was out with me too. So we created this, like, pack. And then Wes and I come back the next year. From that year that Wes and I come, I lead Syracuse. I was the sixth man they was following me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, now I'm near 3 years really, but I'm a sophomore in the court, but I got to really see what I actually really wanted. And then a guy came to school, he went the number 6 pick. That'll open your eyes, like
Right.
really, truly. And I watched it. So from that point on, so now when Dion and Deshaunte and them come in, I set the foundation though that we have created. Johnny and everybody started with Eric Devendorf, Paul Harris, those Andy Routins. They was before me, but Andy and I with Arenziana Walker, who was a 5th year. Andy was a 5th year. They started it really. Andy Routins and Arenziana Walker was 2 5th years because they was hurt. I got to play with them. They was our leaders, Wesley Johnson, and then I was like the Dion of that team. I got National 6th Man of the Year that year, but again, I got to learn what I actually wanted in college. So I graduated the next year. I graduated in 4 years with my first degree, like you're supposed to, and then my 5th year, I finished with it.
Yeah, I think it's a giant FU to most people. The criticism that like somehow jocks are stupid or just not. It's like the exact opposite. And I keep saying this over and over again. Athletes are the smartest people we have. They're not like, and what you just said, like
crazy.
It's like what you said was so nonchalant. Like you weren't even bragging just now. You were just sort of like, yeah, and I, took advantage of university and I got incredible grades and like I took like.
No, that's truly what happened.
Your average kid doesn't do that. Right. And that's what impresses me over and over again with someone like you. It's just, you put in the work.
Yeah, and I wasn't on a one and mentally I thought I was one and done, but my grandmother going to school for 4 years, like that was something she used to always say. Because again, no male really graduated in my family, so I can toot the horn in that, and everybody invested in that because everybody did invest in my dream, playing basketball. If that was getting me to a camp or getting me a flight, you know what I mean? Like where somebody invested in Scoop Jardin in Philadelphia, you know what I mean? So when I got those degrees, that was that for, it put me in now I took that, and now when life happened, when I broke my foot, because I was always, my biggest fear was to not get my name called. Mm-hmm. Literally. I felt like I was going to be a failure to the city of Philadelphia if my name didn't get called. Right. It wasn't planning to be able. I wanted my name to get drafted. That's how much pressure I was putting on myself. And when I looked and then landed in the hospital, it was like, now, all right, I didn't get drafted because I broke my foot. Now it's an excuse for the people again. But life is really actually happening for me. All this shit I work for, happening for me. But it was hard for me to express that to them or figure that out. And that took to about 2 years ago, again, when I got the job with Fidelity. And I changed my appearance, cut my beard off, put the suit on. Post that first picture on Instagram, and it was like, damn, they'd seen it. They finally seen it, but I felt it since I broke my foot.
Yeah, I like what you were just saying about your red shirt year, because I think that can speak to a lot of people. Because I know me personally can relate to that. Because sometimes in life you're going through a phase, and it might not be till 6, 7 years later that you realize, like, all right, I'm with Johnny Flynn, like. You didn't even go into detail. Like he handled his process of picking an agent and like learning the business of it all. So like,
I can actually, I was a part of that process with Johnny, and being a part of that process, seeing how the gang worked, and his agent at the time, Rich Paul, Johnny Flynn is Rich Paul's first client.
Really?
See, like people don't even.
I didn't know that. Didn't know that.
Literally, like his first when he got with CAA, I can remember like it was yesterday. He used to be in our dorm. Like, yo, like I'm telling you, like come with me. Like Leon is the agent. He was explaining to us how it was, because here it is. We kids, we didn't know. Like, oh wait, why are you down here? Why Leon didn't come to see us? This is how you like. I don't want the runner to come. If I'm that man, I want the head agent to come. So we putting this type of pressure on Rich. Like, why you not here? Why Leon not here if you work for CAA?
Yeah.
Listen, it's me. Like, I'm going to be your guy. Like, you don't need, like, you know what I mean? Like, he explaining the whole process, even what it is today. And that's what I respected and what I always told you I respected about it, because what he explained to us is actually what's happening, what they doing today. And when you can do that for me, you can paint a picture like that, I got nothing but respect for that. You know what I mean? Like, where Johnny, he brought us to Cleveland. I didn't even bring Johnny, brought me to Cleveland. I can take all the perks. I was a red shirt.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I wasn't a part of the team. Yeah. So I'm rich all the time, and I'm seeing, and I'm coming back giving Johnny the stories. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like a lot of that type of stuff. But again, that helped me see what I actually wanted to do. And again, Rich was one of the people who always say, "Yo, you're gonna be so much. Don't take this the wrong way, but you better
Yeah.
at the sports. Like if you
So even Rich said that to you.
what one of the first personally, you're better. Don't take this the wrong. And I'm looking at Rich like I want you to be coming at me. I'll be killing Johnny every day, like in
Right.
practice. Like this in my head, like how just the competitive. You couldn't tell me that. Couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to the NBA. So even when I knew I had these gifts or things, I didn't really see that. I seen me buy my mom the house to get drafted. The dream,
Yeah.
the dream, yeah. And but again, there's so much more to it that you can get out of it. All you do is dedicate yourself to something, and this is what you're dedicating yourself to. You're not getting paid to do it, so you're not really getting paid. It's not about no money at all. So you really work into something that you believe in. So you believe in something that's really not even there that you believe in it. So you believe in something bigger than yourself. You know what I mean? And all those principles I take, and what I'm doing today, I'm finding what I believe in is bigger than me, which is religion and whatever that's going to be, and from there I work at it. It never is about no money.
Yeah, to me it reminds me, Stan Lee passed away the other day, 95 years old. Like with superheroes,
Yeah,
it's like he created superheroes where they had some adversity or something bad happened, right? Daredevil like becomes blind,
Yeah.
and then they learn how to thrive in a way they didn't plan.
yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you're Daredevil. Yeah, I
No,
mean,
it's the truth,
but
though.
you know what I mean? But like you had to go through some of that in order to find this bigger, better path, actually.
Sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And
Yeah.
that's what college. That's what life at the sports.
Well, that's what weirdly, like, that's how it is for everybody, right? Like, that's how it is for me. I never played college basketball, but it's the same thing. I had all sorts of ideas and dreams and hopes. And then, like, guess what? That stuff doesn't tend to happen.
Mhm.
But instead, something sort of better happens.
Absolutely.
All the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Sky's playing.
Yeah. It's just,
That's
it's the way it is, man.
yeah.
And it's like you can either go with it or you can go against it, but it's still happening. And so I think it's better to go with it. It's better to say, I'm going to grab it.
For sure.
So, since I know a little bit more than most when it comes to your story,
Right.
Tell the people just in terms of your experiences over the last 2 to 3 years, like how you just view the state of the culture when it comes to business around sport, like
The business.
Like I always like to just pick your brain,
Right.
just to. How do you view like just the culture, the young kids, the current stars, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you view the business going on right now?
The business in a nutshell is, with colleges, with the sneaker game controlling everything, is really going to keep it cluttered, if that make any sense. But my perspective of it is a lot of these kids, and I don't want to sound like it's not like a dinosaur. It's like the people who played in the past, they be like hard. I'm not one of those guys. I'm in the moment. I'm truly always I always try to be in the moment. But when you look at it today, a lot of the business being though with the social media, I feel like kids have the time. What we spoke about off camera was, if the time is now to control your own destiny. Like if you really believe you can be Michael Jordan, you could. It's now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's truly now, and that's where I don't like with the mindset that I had as a young. I felt like I wish I was here now. If that make any sense,
Right.
with the opportunities it's going on today. So from that perspective of it, like I want the athletes to understand, like the time is now that you can really grasp. You can be LeBron. Like, you really truly can, and you don't have to be a 3-time NBA champion. But you controlling and owning your own destiny is that, and not letting nobody put you inside no box. So my goal is always giving the athlete or somewhat more ownership and controlling their own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm big on that. Now from the business of it, it's a lot of sharks.
So many.
and there's a lot of people that's controlling these kids that don't have an idea of what's going on with the game of basketball. Like stuff what we just talked about. I can go in here and talk to an athlete about a lot. I think it should be a lot of, and I don't say this myself, but a lot of me who actually had somewhat of experience. If you're gonna be on somebody's bench, a lot of these coaches hiring their ex-players now, or they do that because you can experience with these players, or what. Well, I taught you this so you can teach it to the next. You know what I mean? So I see I think it should be a lot of that, especially in the culture of teaching these kids how to play basketball
Right.
instead of a lot of just people doing it for money. I would never be a guy working a guy out or training a kid because I can never take money from somebody because people who helped me with the game, I didn't have to pay for. I didn't have to pay them. They did it out truly of their heart and wanted to see a kid make it out of Philadelphia because of what was going on around. You know what I mean? Like, so I truly look at that from a different. So if you just doing it for that, or you doing it for the money, like I don't respect it at all. You know, like I truly like that's why I said like I'm like a leader. I really want to see. I might not be here to see what I'm trying to create, and I truly mean it. Like you know what I mean? Like, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with taking steps in towards that. And again, I didn't make the NBA, and people, what happened to School Jardin? NBA, what you doing now?
Yeah,
you might not see it. But that's my purpose, you know. So I live every day like I'm be in great shape to play in the NBA. Probably at 40 years. You see Abdul Rauf. I love that guy.
Yeah, me too.
Love that guy. That guy figured it out. He tapped into something. It ain't just about, you know what I mean? Like, and people didn't understand that at that time.
Yeah,
what he was trying to do. But look at him at 40. He's better. He can play in the NBA now.
I know.
But that's the knowledge and information that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's what I feel like us athletes we get, man. That life you get, you come across the best people.
Mm-hmm.
Take that.
Yeah.
So Mario Chalmers was around the same people LeBron was around, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it as that. So look at Steve Kerr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He great as Michael, ain't he?
Yeah.
So and that's how I try to apply. But the business, back to the culture is really, I want to get a lot of us who got experience with the game, who from not just, you can cover, like Bayham, so you got to cover so many spots in the zone. They the guys he go after. Like you can't just cover one spot. I need the players that can play 3 and 4 different spots. Because something might happen. You might be a wing, but you gotta go play guard today. You gotta know both. So like I need that around the business now. Like so it can help our kids really get the best out of everything. Because we experienced it. We put our time and effort into it. You give that back. And it shouldn't be about money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing how diverse you are in your network of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, because he's being a little humble when it comes to his network. It's just he's very friendly with KD and Brian, all those guys. Those guys are his friends. So like, not to get into their business too much, but I know, we all watch and study the current business of the superstar. What do you think? You've been around the Brian empire, like you've been in it, like so. To experience that, know that, and just all the top superstars. What do you think about how they are going about business right now?
I think the top, the 1% is their business is handled right. Like when you look at LeBron, he's like far to none. I don't know, but I think he's doing it the best as an athlete. He did it better than Michael. Magic did it after basketball by his network of LA, I believe. But LeBron took his plan, what he came in with, and he's been executing everyone. So I give LeBron the advantage. I see KD is following that or trying to, follow every LeBron move. If you peep, he's doing the same. Mm-hmm. So he's learning from what's in front of him, which is smart. You got like you get a guy like a James Harden, for another example, he's going to be making money for the next. And he knows it. Like this guy knows it. Like he really truly
he cracked the code.
And he's going to crack it again.
And
he's going to crack it again. Just truthfully, he's 30. What? He's 29, 28 years old. Yeah. So he knows this. So these guys making a shitload of money. And again, my biggest belief is really like if you're a leader, if you're an owner, if you control your own destiny, you should really take the LeBron method. That's something that really worked, and it can work for us because.
So when you say LeBron method, tell us what you think
owned his own.
Means.
He controlled his own destiny at all times, even with these owners, even when this lockout. When you look at the whole, everything from the 2011 lockout, which hurt my career. You look at that whole lockout. It was because the players wanted that. They wanted to control their own destiny.
Right.
Finally, but that's because Brian knew. Well, they can't figure something out. That's how that went. Right. Like they figured something out and they went to the players and that's how they created that lockout. But that lockout doesn't happen. You don't see what's happening today to these contracts that's happening.
Yeah.
And people don't know this, but again, that lockout hurt my career, man.
Right.
Like I was 2011, I had 14 points. I was coming out that year.
Yeah.
You know, but again, that helped the NBA. And that helped the players today where you can get a Matthew Dellavedova signed for $40 million.
Right.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of
Who was on my summer league team who I can honestly say I killed him. But yeah.
I think he's still in the league, right?
Oh, he's killing. That's what I
Yeah,
said. He got his
yeah.
money, and he's an NBA champion. I only say that like not in a hating way or like or I'm negative saying it. I'm saying it from a LeBron. He cracked the code of creating more superstars instead of himself.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Michael Jordan, it was Michael Jordan and others. It was just the Mike League. Like you had Barkley, but Barkley didn't have a ring, so how much you can take him serious? But if you look at now, today's you got Stephen Curry. The game has evolved, and it's because he didn't find something out and kept it for himself. He giving it to others. It's either you're gonna follow or you're not.
Yeah, I mean the league's exploded, right? I mean,
Look, and it's crazy because I say like instead of people like Anthony Davis, I'm gonna go sign Rich Paul, which I agree. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Rich. When I'm about to say, I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but I'm looking at AD like, yo, you LeBron. You don't need Rich. Like, who your best friend? Like, who your guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just create the method.
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I get it.
You get it?
Yeah.
Like, you only I'm gonna go with Rich Paul. Like, we so small minded. That's my whole thing. Like, LeBron will respect you so much more if you see that way though, because you did exactly what he. You know what I mean? Like, it's like more Jay-Z created the whole independently thing for rappers or
Right.
him and Master P. If I'm quoting it right, that's what you creating.
Yeah.
So that's what Brian did. And now these owners, y'all can't play with us. You want to trade me? Yeah, you trade me. You know I'm gonna leave.
Right. Jimmy Butler just did
Did
it.
it?
Paul George
George is doing it. Look.
Yeah. I really believe you have to sort of.
And people might not. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
do
people
your
might not like it, like fans in there, but they don't understand again this business part of it. Either.
Yeah.
So, getting into that part, like I will hope players create or control their own destiny. You know, remember how it was before? You just play basketball. And you just worry about basketball. That's it. Don't worry about it and nothing else. Your job is just to play basketball, right? But no, as a CEO, I need to know what's going on with my company.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why we're sitting here, right? Is like I work with various basketball players as clients of my business. I consult for them for tech and strategy, and that wouldn't have happened 5 years ago.
Right.
That wouldn't have happened. I mean,
At
we're in a
all.
new age where your basketball athletes and basketball players are business people first, and that happen to play basketball. That's the way I look at it.
That was
now.
me.
You
That was
know?
me. Even however I wanted to take it from the kid that I was at 13 years old, that was what I seen from it. Again, how I looked at the business, it might be small at this time, but again, you're gonna pay me, my mom and them, my family. You're gonna pay me. Here it is. I'm a product of my environment, trying to do this. The things that's going on in my neighborhood, but you're gonna pay me to go play basketball. But give me money to go away on an AU trip to Vegas. $500 from you and my dad. That's $1,000 just to get out of the neighborhood. I'm never going to do these. I'm not doing that. I was smart. I'm not doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's the day you became an entrepreneur.
That's the game I became an entrepreneur. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I mean. Like, that's how I take that. I'm 30 years old. I'm reflecting. I'm in a reflecting stage in my life. And that's what I take from that. And I did it. And I focused that. And I worked my ass off at that. And it got me to 2 degrees, shitload of contacts. And I'm here, you know? And I can honestly say, coming from where I come from, I've never been locked up in jail. I don't even know what they're like. None. I got my sisters and been in jail. They can look at me like I'm a punk. You know what I mean? Like, because from our perspective of it, but I'm blessed. You know what I mean? That's what basketball did for me.
That's so good.
That's what basketball did for me. It really, I'm driving it. And that's what Brian and his camp took as more than an athlete.
Where can our audience follow you on like Instagram?
Oh, Instagram is Mr. Antonio Jardin. I changed it. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur now, so it's not Scoop, it's Antonio, and I've been getting a lot of feedback from that since I changed my Instagram name to that.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I called
Mr.
you Scoop.
No, I'm fine.
like,
Yeah. But I still hear Scoop.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, it's fantastic having you on today. I feel like there's so many things I learned. And I'm just so impressed with everything you're doing, and I would love to have you just hang out, come by. You're in the hood.
Right.
We're all part of the same crew. However we can help you, it just seems like you're doing amazing things, and life after sports is sounds super interesting.
Right.
So do your thing, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Too. This was fun actually to reflect and talk about some stuff. It's so much we could have talked about, and that's why I enjoy it.
Oh, we're gonna have you back. I
My
mean,
man
now that we got all this
Jordan
out,
wanted me to get into it. Like,
yeah. Once we got the good stuff, I mean, this is the
Yeah.
bad stuff. Actually, we're gonna get into some dirt next time you're right. We're gonna get some juicy stuff.
No, for sure. Like I'm not politically correct no more. This is where it's at.
Uh-oh.
Seriously, that's how I feel. You know, you wanna, man. Some things need to be addressed.
All right, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a killer next episode with Scoop.
Right.
So watch for that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks.